Welcome in to the PHNX Sports Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. You know me, it's your girl, it's
DJ Mackie P.
Makayla Perkins, and that is the one, the only Shawn DePaz.
Yo.
I am very sorry for not being here last week,
Hey,
but you held down the fort.
I did. I appreciate that. I feel like you avoid me a lot at this rate.
Honestly, it's intentional. I don't want to be around you,
I know,
so I try to get away from you.
It's. I feel like over the last 2 months, we've done more shows without the two of us than with us.
I know. Yeah, we've kind of been all over the place. I'm sorry, guys. I feel terrible.
But we'll be together next week, right, Mac? Right, Mac?
Yeah, about that. I promise that should be the last show that I'm missing for a while.
Okay.
I promise. I'm going to be here as much as I can.
I'm going to leave the next Friday after that.
You would. You would do that. Just to spite me.
I mean, I might not at this rate just to spite you, but I should be here.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I see the squad in the chat. Elizabeth, Ryan, Daniel, Charles, what's up, everybody? So good to see you all. I'm sure Chris is somewhere in there. I just haven't seen her comment. There she is.
First
Mama
one to
Chris
comment,
in the
of course.
house. What's up?
It's the first one to comment, of course.
I know. She was early today. So good to see you all. We have a great show planned for you today. We're talking Suns. We're talking ASU. We're talking Arizona. We're talking Cardinals. We're talking Diamondbacks. We've got it all. We're going through the gamut today.
Yeah, there's like I said, it's a big weekend.
It is
a big weekend. It's a big time in Arizona sports, which you don't necessarily expect for the beginning of August.
It's August.
But there's a lot going on. So it's good for us. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's get right into it because we do have some happy news, and we might as well just start the show off with some happy news. Big shout out to Amari Stoudemire and Shawn Marion. It was announced this past week that they are going to get inducted into the Suns Ring of Honor, and it's long overdue at this point. Everyone was super stoked about the news, Devin Booker included. He tweeted out, "Matrix and Stat, much deserved. Appreciate y'all." This is great. This is what we've wanted. Suns fans have been clamoring for these two to be inducted into the Ring of Honor for a while now, but for whatever reason, previous ownership just were dragging their feet. And now it is official. They will be inducted into the Ring of Honor, and that's happy.
Yeah, no, it's happy. I mean, I remember growing up back on the East Coast watching Amari Stoudemire play for the Suns. He was on the cover of an NBA Live video game I played, so I always loved him, and it was coming out here. It was crazy to me that he wasn't getting that kind of respect, and obviously, like you kind of referenced, it had a little bit to do with that last ownership, a problem that has since been rectified. But like Charles said, it's a long time coming. These two guys undoubtedly deserve it. They're two of the names. I think
two of the biggest names. In Suns
I think
history.
Once you start, you obviously you kind of have those big 3, 4, or 5 at this point, but you start talking about the people who have had an impact in this franchise. It's not a long time before you bring up these two names, and so it is much deserved, and I'm glad it's a problem that Matt Ishbia rectified. Yeah,
totally agree. Speaking of Matt Ishbia, I think this is just another notch on Matt Ishbia's belt of proving why he is the perfect owner for the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, we've talked about this in length in the past about why Ishbia has just been a great owner and the things that he's done to show that he's committed to winning. But I think this just further proves that he is the perfect owner for the Phoenix Suns. After the news was announced, he tweeted out, "Honored to be able to induct Amari and Matrix into the Ring of Honor this upcoming season. These two guys made an incredible impact on our Suns organization, and I'm proud to retire their numbers and recognize all they did for our franchise, the fans, and the game of basketball." So shout out Matt Ishbia. At this point, I don't know what else we could ask for from an owner besides a ring.
No, honestly, because at this point, the guy, I mean, he can recognize how important they are to the franchise, and he's been around for 2 months.
Yeah.
But the guy who's owned it for years was somehow not able to recognize that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, I know Matt Ishbia, I think you're right. At this point, all he has to provide is a ring. He's went out and got the players. He's done all the things you want when you get a new owner and you kind of are trying to rectify a bad culture. You bring back the legends. You recognize the legends that deserve recognizing. You get new jerseys. You do all of these little things that kind of give the organization a new feel, which is something this organization desperately needed.
He came into a shit show. Let's be honest. It was a mess when he took over.
It was not going to be an easy problem to clean up. And let's be fair, he almost and maybe still will fuck it up with Isaiah Thomas, but that's to be seen. But so far he's done all the right things.
Yeah, he's done all the right things for sure. Luckily, he came into a situation where The arena was great. It just got remodeled. Like the on the court product was good.
Yeah.
You know, they had made some deep playoff runs. So it wasn't like you had to do a major full reconstruction. It was just really focusing on rebuilding the culture.
But I mean, it's not like it's hard. Like, he really just needed to stay out of the way.
Yeah.
And let like the organization kind of heal itself. This is all kind of natural things that Sarver just got in the way of because he had a giant fucking ego.
Yeah.
Like, Ishbia is everything that this organization needed in so many ways.
Yeah.
He's doing all the right things, and it's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to run through these really quick just because obviously we're a little bit younger. We're on the younger side. So we might have missed a lot of like the franchise accomplishments that these two made. So this is for us as well as for anyone else that might need to be reminded of why they're being inducted into the Ring of Honor. Shawn Marion, in his time, he ranks 5th in franchise history in points with a little over 12,000. He's 2nd in rebounds, 2nd in steals, and 3rd in blocks in franchise history. His number 31 will be retired. And then for Amari, he ranks 7th in points, 5th in scoring average, 3rd in rebounds, and 5th in blocks in franchise history. So obviously these two accomplished a lot while they were here.
And their impact is bigger than the numbers too. They were like the face of the franchise, especially Amari. Like,
especially Amari.
He was that dude.
He was that dude. Speaking of him, however, number 32 will be the number that is retired, which
I wonder why.
It's kind of funny because I think all of us associate the number 1 with Amari, but obviously we have a current person wearing number 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there. Nobody crucify me, but I guarantee you that number 1 will be retired one day.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to save that for Devin Booker.
Unless dude leaves the franchise and just starts shitting on the Suns, I think he could stop playing basketball now, and Devin Booker's probably getting that one retired.
Probably, yeah.
So, they could have retired it twice and let kind of just grandfather Devin Booker in, but I think that's a little cleaner way to do it. I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah, just let's save number 1 for Booker because I'm imagining he's going to want it. He's going to want it saved. Yeah. One other thing that's really cool about this new Ring of Honor is Matt Ishbia has plans to kind of re-innovate it, revamp it. The whatever it looks like, we're going to have a picture up here in a second, is pretty cool. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great idea it's going to be out in the lobby, and then there's going to be like allegedly it's going to be in the lobby with like an interactive board so you can see like their accomplishments and what they did with their time with the organization. So I think it's pretty cool. I think it's awesome that it's more accessible to fans, but you disagree.
Well, I mean, I like this specifically. Like, I think it's awesome. It looks really cool. It looks like a very unique thing to have in an arena. I've never really seen anything like that. My thing is you look at the historic franchises like the Celtics and the Lakers. What do they have? Banners.
Yeah.
Like, I want the numbers hanging up in the rafters. Like, that feels different to me than having something like this, as cool as it is, or having it on the ribbon boards inside of the bowl. Like, I want banners. I want to see the jerseys hanging up in the rafters. I just think it has a different feel to it. So I would prefer that. But this is if you're not going to do that, this is a nice kind of, like I said, a very unique thing that I think is going to look really cool and add a unique flair to Footprint.
Yeah, absolutely. So congratulations to Stat and Matrix. Super happy for you both. Well deserved. And welcome to the Ring of Honor.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of things that are great, Factor.
Factor,
you guys, I can't say enough good things about the number 1 ready-to-eat meal kit in America. We all know that I struggle in life. In many different ways, I struggle in life. Feeding myself and keeping myself alive is one of those things. I don't know how to cook. That's like the main thing
I struggle with, to be quite honest.
I don't know how to cook. I'm sorry to whoever I marry in the future. You're getting someone that can burn water. So I'm very sorry about that. But I don't have to worry about that anymore because I get Factor meal kits delivered to my house. I actually was using Factor before they even became a partner of our show. So
me, you, and Shane were all on the Factor wave.
I know. I put you on it too. You used my referral code. So thanks for that. You guys, they are delicious. Like, I was very skeptical because they're like, you microwave the meals and they come already pre-made,
you think you're getting like, no offense, because I got a special place for these in my heart, but you think you're getting like a Stouffer's or a Marie Callender's type
it is
thing.
not that at all. They are chef made. You can get keto options. You can get vegan options. You can get vegetarian options. They are delicious.
And never frozen.
Never frozen. They are delivered right to your door, which is great because I don't have time to go grocery shopping. I hate the grocery store. It's very overwhelming. It gives
me so much anxiety.
Yes, thank you. Like, nobody understands that.
Because I don't like interacting with human beings, but I also hate bagging my own groceries. Like, that freaks me out because I don't like that. The people that do it, like that, they're pros. They have a method to it. I don't have that experience.
Yeah.
Just grocery stores, just
yeah. I almost had a breakdown in Trader Joe's
Plus,
the other week.
The only time I can grocery shop is the times that everyone else is grocery shopping. So it's busy as hell every time I want to grocery shop.
Yeah. So Factor takes care of the shopping for you. And also, if you're lazy like me and don't want to do dishes, I just stick the whole thing in the microwave, eat it out of the thing, and then I just throw it away. And I don't have to do
forks. You don't gotta dirty a single dish.
We're really roughing it out here, but I'm not kidding you guys. Factor is so worth the money. They are delicious. They're delivered right to your door, easy, convenient, and so good. Head to factormeals.com/PHNX50 and use code PHNX50 to get 50% off your first order. That's code PHNX50 at factormeals.com/PHNX50 to get 50% off. Well, we talked about good things.
The fun is over.
The fun is now done.
The fun is over. It's actually been over for a while.
Momentarily. This is just the one unfun
It's the sick sandwich.
Yeah.
You got to put the bad stuff in the middle.
What is it? It's like pro, con, pro.
Yeah.
That's when you're like giving someone like how to get better. You got to give them
the bad news in between. It's a compliment sandwich.
Yeah.
Basically.
So we're in the compliment sandwich and we're in the bad part.
Yeah.
The Arizona Diamondbacks. They're literally the worst. Like literally
Quite
the worst.
literally the worst.
Quite literally the worst. They have the worst record in baseball since July 1st.
And they've lost 8 straight games. And they can't score any runs. They've been shut out 3 times.
Their bullpen is scary.
The bullpen's not even okay. They've been shut out 3 times.
Yeah.
Since July 1st after not being shut out once up until that point in the first few months of the season.
Yeah.
Like, you had Brandon Pfaadt pitch 7 innings of 1-hit ball the other day and lose. Of 1-run ball, excuse me. Because the offense has disappeared.
Gone.
Ghost.
Non-existent.
See ya. Gone forever. Hopefully not gone forever. They got to figure it out.
They have to figure it out. And they can figure it out because this is the light at the end of the tunnel.
They're still in the playoff race.
They're only 2.5 games back from a wild card spot,
take a look
which
at the standings.
Crazy.
It's unbelievable. All of this losers of 8 straight, 1-9 in the last 10. And I mean, have completely fallen off, officially below 500. And they're still only 2.5 games out of the playoff race.
Yeah.
They got a huge series, as you can see right below the D-backs there, the Padres, 2 games behind them.
Yeah. But look at the teams that are in it right now. I don't trust San Francisco to hold on to that spot. I don't trust the Marlins to hold on to that spot. Like, I feel like the Cubs and Cincinnati are easy to pass. The Phillies, I think, maybe are the one team that I'm like, which, like, did you see that no-hitter yesterday, by the way?
Lorenzen, I mean, the Phillies have been said forever, all season, before the season started. They will not be denied. They're coming back with a vengeance. So I think they aren't losing that playoff spot. San Francisco, they just find ways to win games.
Such a weird
I don't really know how to.
I
don't understand it. Like, their team sucks, but they're really good at the same time. They're just a really weird team. So I don't know what to make of them. But Miami, I certainly agree. They have plenty of holes too. They've obviously been losing a bunch of games as well. So they're very much in it. The Cubs have been playing great baseball. They've stormed back into this playoff race, so they worry me a little bit. Cincinnati's the same way. I think they have clear holes as well. Their starting pitching has been a train wreck. The Diamondbacks just have no offense.
I think they can figure it out. Okay.
So you don't are they dead? You think they're dead or no?
I don't know. I don't want to be that person that's like they're dead.
Derek's called them dead. The mayor's called them dead on the PHNX.
The mayor has declared them dead.
He's called them dead.
The division is no question out of the question.
That's why I didn't.
They're 11 games back from the Dodgers. Yeah. There's no chance.
Dodgers are a wagon, of course. They acquired 4 guys at the deadline who are all below replacement level players, and they all have played out of their minds and showing up because that's what the Los Angeles Dodgers do.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to say it just because they started out so strong.
Yeah. I mean,
got my hopes so high just to be crushed.
I'm not calling them dead yet. You can't call them dead. They should be dead. They are playing like they're dead, but they're zombies basically. They're still walking somehow because, like we said, they're 2.5 games back. And like Charles says, it feels like 20, but they are only 2.5 games back. As I keep saying, it's not likely, and I am by no means predicting this, but there is technically a situation where after this weekend, they're back in a playoff spot. Yeah. There's also a situation where after this weekend, they're 4th in the division and behind the Padres. But still, like, to know that they are that close, it makes it impossible for me to say that they're dead, despite the fact that I don't have any like hope. I don't have any reason to believe that they are going to make the playoffs or really figure this thing out. But statistically speaking, they're still very much in it.
Yeah, statistically speaking, they're very much in it. And I think the most frustrating part about it is it just like the lack of like energy that it appears to be like out there. I just like they are not instilling any confidence in me that they've got this handled.
I mean, Corbin's not playing well. Christian Walker has gone ice cold, and his body language says it. I mean, we've got Carson Kelly playing half the games behind the plate, and he can't do a damn thing, right?
Yeah.
Ketel Marte is good, but he's a liability defensively. Like, it's just, it hasn't been good.
Yeah.
In basically any regard, and it's like the pitching's been pretty good, to be quite honest, but it doesn't feel like it because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The bullpen comes up and gives up 1 run basically every time, which in and of itself shouldn't matter that much, but when the offense is scoring like 3 runs a game, it's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's been bad. I have the tiniest shred of hope, but it's fleeting more and more day by day.
Yeah, Charles in the comments saying there's no soul in this team anymore. That's like my biggest gripe. Is it just feels like they've thrown in the towel, and I obviously can't speak on their behalf, and I don't know. Obviously, I know that that's probably not what they're doing, but it just feels that way because you watch the games and you're just like,
yeah.
What? Hello? Does anybody want to play baseball? Does anybody want to be here? Does anyone want to score a run?
Yeah.
Like,
and it only gets worse. The schedule is not an easy one. Merrill Kelly left the last game with leg cramp. It was like hamstring issue, I believe. So that's not good. Zach Davies is on his way back, which is also not good if you ask me. Positive news. Gabby Moreno is getting closer to coming back, it seems like. I believe he's doing some rehab in the ACL as of yesterday. So hopefully we won't have to see Carson Kelly much longer. But despite all the things that are happening on the field, like a lot of the blame at this point, especially from a lot of the fans, is being leveled at Torrey. There's people saying he should lose his job. What is your thoughts on that? Do you think Torrey is to blame? Do you think like his job is he on the hot seat at all? They obviously picked up his option recently, I believe. So he's here through next year.
Yeah,
at least through on his contract. How are you looking at Torrey right now?
This is gonna be a super unpopular opinion, but I don't think I'm ready to fire Torrey.
Yeah, I agree.
Understand the frustration, totally get it, and I think he is the easiest person to blame,
and does deserve some
blame, for sure. In my mind, and I might be delusional, I am delusional, but it's fine. The Diamondbacks have overperformed for me this season and have over-delivered on expectations. Agreed. I was expecting a very mediocre, subpar, not fun season again, very similar to last season, with just like a few bright spots here and there that like get me excited. They had a phenomenal start to the year. Like, blew me away. They had the best record in the National League at some points.
Exceeded literally everybody's expectations.
They had
including
4 starters in the All-Star game, or 4 players in the All-Star game, not starters. But
they had 2, which is still in and of itself
crazy.
Ridiculous.
So to me, if they don't make the playoffs, as much as it sucks, in my head, I've been prepared for that because I didn't even think that we'd be in a playoff discussion point blank period at this point.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm not ready to fire Torrey. I think he's still doing what he's supposed to be doing considering the roster that he has.
Yeah. Because
I've been saying this on TPSP for like the last like 6 weeks. We weren't supposed to see the best of the Diamondbacks until like 2025 when everything was supposed to like really start to come together and all the pieces were supposed to be in place like through the farm system and all of that. So I just want to give it I know people are going to hate me, but I'm riding with Torrey. I'm riding it out. I still think he is a great coach for this team. I'm not ready to let go of Torrey, and I am also like, if we don't make the playoffs, oh well.
Yeah, inclined to agree with you. I mean, if they're not winning another game or they win like 3 more games over the rest of the season, then you got to do something, I think. And Torrey's it's easiest to switch the manager.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, they are performing in every way, and it is definitely tough to see Torrey clearly scrambling for answers. Like, he does not have an answer for this. But I don't know how many managers would. Like, this is just a really weird thing going on for the D-backs, because, like, yes, they have performed above expectations and probably above what they really were. They outperformed in the first half of the season, but I don't think you can realistically say that this is who they are either. Like, no. they are underperforming right now.
Yes,
who they are lies somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not inclined to judge Torrey entirely on what's going on right now. Brian in the chat suggesting that Hazen's more to blame here. I don't know if I agree with that either, because, like, again, you look at expectations before this year, there was talks about them signing Xander Bogaerts before the year, and while that would have been fun, I think most people's reaction to that is like, what are we doing? Yeah. Why would you be spending this guy all this money when you have A, prospects that are lined up to play on that side of the infield, and B, no real expectation to make the playoffs this year? Why would you be setting up the roster like that? And I get that the trade deadline, there was an opportunity to go and get rentals, but again, this was not the expectation. This was not the year for them to be winning the World Series. The window wasn't supposed to open until really next year at the earliest.
Yeah.
And so him not going crazy, him only really going to get guys that had control. I know he was reportedly in on Lorenzen, who was a rental and ended up throwing that no-hitter for the Phillies, which stings a little bit, obviously. But
hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, like I don't think this is like this is it yet. Like, I think ultimately they're going to end this season, and when you look at the record, it's going to be about what you expected them to be this year anyways, maybe slightly better, and it's just going to sting a little bit more because of how it happened, but I don't think I don't think it's really all that bad. It's bad. It's really bad right now.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, pulling back, getting a little perspective, like Chris said, I don't think it's really all that bad.
Yeah, I'm actually very happy with how Hazen handled the trade deadline.
As am I.
My biggest fear was that he was going to take the early success that the Diamondbacks have had and just put all of the chips in and say, we're going to get the rentals, we're going to get the big names, and then just like blow the timeline that we've been working towards for so long. And so I'm happy that he didn't do that, honestly. I'm happy that he got some very reasonable pieces for a very reasonable price and has committed to this timeline that we've all been on.
Yeah.
So to me, Hazen handled the deadline in a way that I'm very happy with.
I agree.
And obviously, we all have frustrations. Baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a game of ebbs and flows. We all know this. Charles making a good point saying, I mean, if you had told us we'd be 2.5 games of a playoff spot in August at the start of the year, D-backs fans would have taken it in a heartbeat.
It's just the way it's happened. Yeah.
It's so true.
Jesse made this point in the show the other day, getting back to Hazen. Like, they were in on Lorenzen at the deadline.
Yeah.
Lorenzen threw a no-hitter the other day. That, even if he had done that exact same thing for the Arizona Diamondbacks, that would not have guaranteed them a win. They've been shut out a bunch recently.
Yeah.
Like, they're not scoring runs. So even like people talking about like wanting him to go get a starting pitcher or whatever, like, or another bullpen, that changes basically nothing. Like Connor says, I think you just got to trust the process, and the process is having us be winners next year. It was never this year. Trust the process.
This is the last thing I'll say. We'll move on to something happy like Daniel's asking us to do. I think Chris makes a great point. The youth of this team is being exposed.
Yeah.
I think that's why another reason I'm not ready to like chop Torrey's head off.
They're young, man.
Is because they're young. They are really, really young. And like there are a couple things that are playing into this scenario that like aren't easy to control. Like injuries is one of them. The youth of the team is one of them. And so if you take away some of those factors, then maybe I understand a little bit more of the outrage. But a lot of what's happening here is a culmination of things that like are harder to control. And the youth of the team is one of them. So we'll just take this as like they're learning, they're growing, they're forming to be better baseball players, and it's going to be fine.
Yep, agreed 100%.
All right. Do you feel good? Do you feel like you got it all off your chest? Okay.
It was a clearing. We needed it.
All right.
Hey, again, there's a chance if all things go well this weekend, they're right back in it.
Yes.
So big series against the Padres. I'm very excited for it.
Fingers crossed. It's all going to be fine. And if you're coming out to our D-backs takeover tomorrow, we are going to be super excited to see you out there.
Absolutely.
We sold out like super fast, which is great.
Big
it
series,
is our
man.
second to last takeover of the season. We have one more.
Last time that they won a game at Chase Field was our last takeover.
Good juju.
Just
we
saying.
have one more takeover coming up. It's going to be September 5th. Keep an eye out for tickets if you follow PHNX_DBacks on Twitter. Those will be the tickets out there. Speaking of more happy things, Circle K. I love me some Circle K.
I could use a Polar Pop right now.
I don't know what it is about that gas station. I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can tell you what it is. It's the gas, it's the snacks, it's the drinks, it's the coffee.
I will like go out of my way to find a Circle K.
It's the snacks.
Like I will pass up all the other just to go to Circle K. Like if I'm on E and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it.
I have another I literally across the street from my apartment, I have another gas station that I will not name. I do not waste my time.
Don't even try to go in there.
Well, I don't. It wouldn't be a waste of time because it would take me less time, but Circle K is worth the time.
Worth the time. Worth the wait.
But they're also everywhere, so they're usually not going out of your way. I pass like 3 on the way.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Between here and work.
Circle K is the best. If you don't believe us, you have to go check it out for yourself. I could also go for a big Diet Coke Polar Pop at the moment. I am a Diet Coke fiend.
Some of them have the Arizona at the Polar Pop station. That I could use a nice like a Arnold Palmer right now.
Yeah, that would sound good too. Well, right now they have if you buy Powerade at 4 for $5, you can be entered to win one of 10 finalists to win a 2023 Ford Big Bend Bronco SUV.
I want very bad.
That's sick.
I'm there every day buying 4 Powerades.
Yeah. They also have a buy 2, get 1 free Monster energy drinks, and the Beatbox hard teas are also buy 2, get 1 free. So go head to your local Circle K, take advantage of those deals. Also, make sure you're not missing out on all of this great stuff right now. If you text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club, they will send you a buy 1, get 1 free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. So text PHNX to 31310 right now.
Do it.
Another good thing that's happy is OGs, and I'm going to need one after that Diamondbacks segment.
Yeah, I'm probably going to, well, depending on how this series, or this weekend goes, might be dipping deep into the bag of OGs.
Yeah. You guys have to check out OGs. They have launched their mixed bag option, which has the fruits and the creams combined in one bag, which is awesome. They've got red apple, watermelon, and peach, and then blackberries and cream, orange creamsicle, and peaches and cream all in one bag. The orange creamsicle is to die for. Take it from me. It is one of my favorites. I mean, what else could you want? They've got everything in one little baggie. It's the best tasting gummies in Arizona. Yeah. Like,
it's, again, I say it every time. If it was a candy with no THC in it, I would eat the entire bag in one sitting. Yeah. But I enjoy responsibly, so I don't do that.
Do not eat an entire bag of OGs. Do not do that. The OGs lineup is stacked with their new fruits and creams assorted packs, their Sleep Edition gummies, which are also awesome, the strawberries and cream Happy Balance, which are my personal favorite, the lightweight, friendly mini OGs. Our pals at OGs most definitely have something for you. We highly recommend you check out OGs online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at OGsBrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary. You must be 21 years or older to purchase. Some big news.
And I think happy news. Big news. Big. Oh, okay.
Har har.
Ha ha ha. But
well, the Conference of Champions is like conference no more.
Dead. Conference of Champions is dead.
Arizona and Arizona State have a new conference to call home.
They do.
Big 12, baby.
Woo.
They have officially joined the Big 12. Their first season competing in a new conference will be 2025 season. It became official last Friday, and of course the news broke right after you were done on the show. Of course. Classic. Absolutely. Love when
it also
that
happened right after the Sun Devil show too, so they had to go live again.
Terrible timing. Terrible timing. Could we have just done that a little bit sooner, Big 12? Obviously, this is a little bit older news, so we're just going to go through our initial reactions because I think it's important to talk about. It's big. Yeah. Like, I've only ever known ASU as a Pac-12 school.
Yeah, no, I mean, same. It completely reshaped college sports, and it has obviously much far-reaching effects that are much more far-reaching than just U of A and ASU. So it was it's kind of crazy how it unfolded, though. Like once USC and UCLA were out, I was like, ugh. Yeah, it didn't. I mean, that's the question started. Yeah, they started. I mean, this really all started, I feel like, with Texas and Oklahoma leaving for the SEC.
Yeah.
And
once the super conference thing started going down, everyone was like, "Oh, okay, well, we're all leaving our conference."
Yeah, and then once UCLA and USC did it, it became like, "Oh, geography doesn't matter. We can go anywhere."
Yeah.
And then and then
we're
obviously
going coast to coast, baby. Super conference is here.
Yeah, and then obviously Friday morning we got the news that last Friday morning we got the news that Oregon and Washington were headed for the Big Ten, and at that point it was over.
Well, so this is how it all went down. So the University of Arizona's entry was approved Thursday night. And then, and it was just Arizona. So Arizona's was approved on Thursday night. And then Friday morning was when Oregon and Washington were leaving the Pac-12, and that became like a whole thing, and they're going to the Big Ten. And so that pretty much left like all the other Pac-12 schools, like there was no choice. Yeah. So then Arizona State and Utah obviously had to jump on the Big 12 bandwagon, which I'm honestly excited for, because before all this happened, my biggest question was like, my goal would be to keep Arizona and Arizona State together, because I don't want that rivalry to go away. Like that rivalry is the oldest rivalry in college sports. Like it has to stay together. Like I know we hate each other, but like I have like Arizona State and Arizona have to stay together. Yeah, so I'm glad that they decided to go to the Big 12. Geographically, this is what it looks like now with the Big 12. There are 16 teams in the Big 12, which is kind of crazy. I'm also really glad that they decided to go to the Big 12 instead of the Big 10, because the Big 10 is much further east than the Big 12 schools are. So geographically, that would have sucked.
And I don't think the Big 10 ever really had any interest in the Arizona schools, or at least ASU.
But I'm glad it played out this way, because ASU and Arizona are obviously together. Utah now joins BYU. Which, so Utah has two schools.
Sports fan, that is awesome. Yeah. Having those two schools back in the same, or like in the same conference, is very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Colorado obviously is in there too, which Colorado has kind of always been on an island because New Mexico doesn't have any big schools to compete on the Power 5 level. Yeah. And then you got 2 Kansas schools, you got Oklahoma, you've got 4 different Texas schools, and then just like some random Midwest and Florida. Yeah. kind of thrown in there. But I like this alignment much more than the Big Ten alignment. And I feel so bad for the athletes that are on the West Coast that are now going to have to fly so much further than they have had to fly in the past to compete in their college athletics, because it's crazy how far apart those schools are.
Yeah, I mean, this one definitely goes down a lot easier than the Big Ten or what the ACC is reportedly interested in doing, which it means bringing on Stanford and Cal. Which means you got people going from the Bay Area to Boston, more or less, which is even crazy. I mean, you already have UCLA and USC going to play Rutgers in New Jersey, which is absurd. But this definitely goes down a lot easier. Like outside of that big just hole with New Mexico, like they're traveling further. Like it's not like Texas not that far away. The Utah schools aren't that far. So like
Utah, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, they're all like in a good
right
reach.
There. And obviously those West Virginia, the Cincinnatis or the UCFs, those are going to be decently long trips. But by and large, the conference makes a decent amount of geographic sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking into consideration the 16 schools in this conference, where do you think ASU and U of A stack up in the Big 12?
I mean, it really depends on
what sport
we're talking about. I mean, football, I think it's pretty wide open. You don't have a real necessarily powerhouse in the Big 12, I don't think, anymore, with Texas and Oklahoma leaving. So I think there is a scenario in which all of the schools from the Big 12 could end up being some of the best in the conference. I mean, I think you look at U of A and they're clearly rapidly moving in the right direction, and ASU, I hate using the term, but the sleeping giant thing, like they are obviously, but there's obviously a lot of momentum going in the right direction with that program as well. So I think anything's possible there. Basketball is a different story. ASU, that's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very difficult. They're going to be near the bottom of that conference for a decent amount. I think you look at their facilities and just the history of the program and all of it, it's not going to be good there. U of A, on the other hand, it's going to be immediately one of the best schools in the conference. Kansas, I think, is on a different level, but U of A is going to be... I
feel like Kansas was triggered when they saw ASU joining because we upset them twice.
No, but there's that too.
They're like, damn it, why did they have to join our conference?
College basketball is different, and I mean, anything's possible, and I think I would rather be in part of Big 12 basketball than Pac-12 basketball at this rate. So
for sure.
Hopefully it raises the competition at that rate as well. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for baseball. Connor brings
Yeah.
up a great point. They're gonna ASU and UVA are probably gonna kill it in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, there's some decent programs in the bat and ball schools, or the bat and ball sports in the Big 12 as well.
Yeah,
but again,
softball is gonna be
Texas and Oklahoma are two of those, and they are leaving. So you go there, but I mean, you look at Oklahoma State. There's programs there that are definitely gonna earn their respect, but it is definitely, I don't know if it's the pack as far as the bat and ball schools go.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, speaking of the bat and ball schools, I think I think the big question, and it often gets left out of the conversation, is these non-revenue sports, like, and the effects it's going to have on them. So, like, how do you view that, like, in terms of just, like, I guess the realignment in general and the effect it's going to have on some of the non-revenue sports?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough. I played a non-revenue sport, so to speak, so I'm a little biased because I'm a soccer girly.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel for the college athletes that are not having to just travel 6 or 7 times like a football team is going to have to do. I think it's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. Like, being a college athlete is already so difficult. My mom was a college athlete. She was a national championship basketball player. Like, so I've heard from her experience how tough it was. And she was in college sorry, Mom, I'm going to expose you. She was in college in the 80s. So it's definitely gotten a lot more intense and a lot more demanding, especially with all the NIL stuff that is now going on. So I think it's going to be tough for them. Like, they're going to have to figure out how to balance like school and the longer travel and, getting home at 4 a.m. on a Sunday night and having to go to class on Monday instead of maybe getting home at like midnight that they would have in the past. Like, all of these things matter. And I think the decision was made in a way that really didn't take them into consideration, which is very frustrating.
I mean, it was all about money, obviously.
It was all about money, and it always is about money. College sports is a business, which is why I was so excited about NIL, because I think the money was going to the wrong place to begin with. But I digress. That's a different conversation. Yeah. I feel for the non-revenue sports, the athletes that are in the non-revenue sports, because they were an afterthought in this decision, and that sucks. Like, they are playing a college sport. They're on full scholarship. They have earned every ounce of getting to be an athlete, and this is just a side effect of that space. And I feel for them for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I have been saying this for a long time, and I think you're starting to see a lot of people say it. I think Chip Kelly said it the other day. Like, in my eyes, the football specifically doesn't need the NCAA. Like, they should be doing their own thing and leaving these non-revenue sports to operate in their own world, because they are two very different worlds. And it is really unfortunate. Like, football is one thing. You play 12 games. You look at ASU, they're playing 8 home games. So this year, obviously, their schedule is going to change when they get to the Big 12. But like that's 4 times they have to travel. 5 times maybe they have to travel somewhere. And it's on the weekend. And so it's like, it's not that bad. But then you look at some of these other sports that they're traveling in the middle of the week or a lot more. It's going to be pretty difficult. And so I definitely feel for them. It is unfortunate. I mean, it is also just kind of the world we live in. Yeah. So welcome to a capitalist society. Like, that's how this shit works.
Money over everything.
So I can only feel so bad, to be quite honest, but it is definitely unfortunate.
But like, if the alternative, I mean, listen, like the Pac-12 was not viable anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't have a choice.
And so if the choice was either stay in the Pac-12 and then take in schools like SDSU, some of the Mountain West like schools, like, I also competitively would say I would rather play somewhere else that the competition is a little bit better.
Yeah. If you're ASU and U of A at that point, you did not have a choice.
Yeah.
It was leave or die.
Yeah. It was leave or die. So I just feel for them. I think it's going to be tough on them. And I wish that they would have taken into consideration how it was going to affect them. I think there was a football coach actually that came out and said something about that.
Yeah, from the coach from Missouri. Yeah, he had some strong words about it. And to be fair, we don't necessarily know what it's going to look like yet as far as scheduling. Like, they obviously, conferences have used divisions in the past. The ACC is using pods that keep most of the games near relatively close regional opponents. So, like, it's not like they're going to be going necessarily like every single game is going to be on the opposite side of the country, but it is going to be something that is going to have I think, adverse effect by and large.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see how it plays out, though.
So am I. I'm excited for Big 12 sports. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be new. It's going to be something different. I didn't realize that the Pac-12 was a conference for over 100 years, though. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
that's a lot of history that has just kind of forever been changed.
Yeah, now it's just Cal, Stanford, Oregon State, and Washington State.
Damn.
Treading water. Yeah. Good luck.
It was cool to kind of like, because going through this, obviously researching the story, it was cool to see that like the Pac-12 had the most championships combined out of any of the conferences. Obviously, it's why the conference champions. But
yeah, maybe.
I'm interested to see where they're going to have tournaments. Like, obviously, they're not going to go to Vegas anymore unless the Big 12 is suddenly just like, see a Kansas City, like, let's go to Vegas, which I would be happy about. Yeah, let's be honest. I'm not going to the tournaments if they're in Kansas City.
Why Kansas City, dog? Like,
I've been banned from that city, so I would love for them to go to Vegas.
Like, go to like even go to like Oklahoma City or something like that.
Literally just anywhere else besides Kansas City. Anywhere else.
I mean, now they again. Take that shit to Disney World, dog. You got Orlando now. Take that shit to Disney World.
That'd be cool. So we'll see how it goes. Dope. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, we've got one more season left in the pack, and it's kind of awkward. It's like when you move in with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and then you break up, but you still have to live together.
Yeah. I mean, at this rate, at least everyone's kind of leaving, so it's really only weird for like those 4 schools.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say, awkward. What if the Pac-12 just like throws in the towel and is like, we don't care about the refs, like we don't care about any of this. Like, well, they've never cared about the refs, but like, you know what I mean.
There's a part of me that is really rooting for Oregon State to win the Pac-12 championship in football this year, because I would really like just for the Pac-12 to kind of just hold on to the Pac-12 championship. Like, don't let one of these schools, because I don't think ASU is really going to win it. Obviously, I'd rather ASU win it. But outside of that, like, come on, Oregon State. Win it for the Pac. Keep it in the conference for however much longer it exists.
Pac wouldn't make it off the plane in KC. You guys, I'm not kidding you. I've never been there before, but I don't think I can actually step foot there because I would get like canceled or murdered or whatever. But anyways, all right, I digress. Football season is here.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm so excited. I just love football season. I know we talked about it last year, but there's nothing better than like a crisp fall afternoon with like TV and a football nap on. Oh, so good. I'm super excited for football season, but I'm also excited to go to Cardinals games for a reasonable price because I'm going to be using the Game Time app.
I would argue that this is unreasonable.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. We're about to show you guys what you're going to be able to go if you haven't gotten tickets for the Broncos game tonight yet. But I'm going to be using Game Time because they are the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. They have the best last minute ticket deals ever. There are so many cheap tickets available on Game Time. And if you haven't already gotten tickets to Broncos versus Cardinals, which is happening tonight. I don't know why I got thrown off by tonight. Probably because it's Friday. You can still do it. And our Game Time game of the week, the Broncos versus the Cardinals tickets are only $4.
You can get $4 to get in the building and see Russell Wilson against Colt McCoy.
Who doesn't want to see that?
I mean, Russell Wilson is still a legend. Like, it'd be cool to see. And then
Broncos country. Let's ride.
There's obviously a lot of change for the Arizona Cardinals, so it'll be cool to see it.
Yeah,
I want to go.
It would be a cool family event. Like, grab the kids, grab your grandma, grab your uncle, grab your best friend, grab whoever. It's only $4 tickets.
The BetMGM Sportsbook beforehand.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole thing.
You can bet on preseason football.
So make sure you go over and download the Game Time app. You can create an account and use promo code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. The Broncos are in the state. And it is Broncos versus Cardinals tonight. Football's back!
Woo!
Woo! Are you excited?
No.
You don't seem excited.
I mean, it's preseason football, dog. Like, I'm not excited for the games.
Did you just call me dog?
Yeah. I mean, I was just kind of saying it in general. Saying it to the people, dog. Like, I mean, I'm not excited for the games, right? Like, it's preseason football. It's not good football, but I'm excited to learn about this team, get an idea what they're gonna look like. Yeah, and get closer to real football. Like, it's more about what it means, not necessarily like I'm not excited for what's gonna happen on the field. Well, I mean, no, I am, but not the game. I'm excited about seeing these guys, seeing some of the new faces make plays, getting some questions answered. I don't care about whether or not the Cardinals win this game, or how many points are scored, unless I bet on it. Like, I'm just in more on a much more individual basis how some of these things are going to play out.
Yeah, for sure. Colt McCoy is expected to start at quarterback today.
Woo! Let's go.
Yay! Clayton Tune will be in that QB2 spot. What are you hoping to see from Colt McCoy today? Is it just like, for me, it's just please don't get injured.
Yeah, I mean,
expectations are on the floor.
It's tough because I kind of side with our guy Johnny. I would really like to see Clayton Tune be that guy. Like, it'd be really exciting to have a rookie come out here and ball. Clayton Tune or Colt McCoy doesn't really get me going like that. But since he is going to be the starter, presumably going into the season, like I want him to. I just want to see him not make any mistakes. Like, you're going out there, you're a seasoned vet, you should be able to handle yourself in the preseason. And I know it's a new season, a new system, so there'll be a little bit of a learning curve there. But yeah. I just want to see him go out there and just take care of business.
Yeah,
stay healthy and don't make a damn fool of yourself.
Yeah. Objective number 1, stay healthy.
Yes.
Objective number 2, instill enough confidence in us that there might be a possibility you can win games until Kyler comes back.
Yeah, because it's like it's you start with the Commanders, who are by no means like the Chiefs, right? Like the
Commanders are terrible.
And Colt McCoy has shown that he can play good football and lead them to wins. So
he can do enough.
There's a chance, and obviously there's other problems with this roster, so I'm not necessarily expecting them to come out and start the season 5-0 or anything like that. But he is capable, when playing at his best and when healthy, of keeping this team like looking like an NFL team. And I think that's all you can really ask for your backup quarterback.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm hoping we see tonight.
Yeah. Just don't make a fool of yourself, please, Colt McCoy. I really don't want to have to talk about you being not QB1.
Yeah.
Let's keep it chill. Let's not rustle some feathers.
Russell Wilson some feathers.
See what I did there? So are you expecting like a Brock Purdy type of event from Clayton Tune?
I mean, I'm not. I think it'd be unreasonable to expect that. But
are you hoping for a Brock Purdy type event?
Yeah. Like, it's just more exciting when the rookie. Like, we know who Colt McCoy is. This is a point that Johnny was kind of making on PHNX Cardinals the other day. Like, we know who Colt is. We have seen guys like the guy he brought up was Taylor Heineke. Like, we have seen rookies who, even though that they are not highly regarded or were not drafted early, we've seen them show up and just kind of take the league by storm, especially early on, because people don't really know what to expect from them. Like, so I think the potential of what you could get out of a guy like Clayton Tune is much higher than what you're going to get out of Colt. I think the floor is much lower as well, which is the risk you take. But yeah. I just think it would be ultimately more exciting and more fun if Clayton Tune is that guy, and ultimately better for the team and more valuable. But I'm not by any means expecting that. I think that would be unrealistic.
You never know what happens. It's preseason. Colt McCoy can go out there and stink, and then they'll be like, all right, Clayton's here, let's
Certainly
go.
a possibility. By no means is this. Yeah,
Which, like,
Colt
how
McCoy
wild
is not
for
the
Clayton.
franchise quarterback. Yeah.
I bet Clayton never imagined that this would be a possibility.
No, I mean also, like, when you're a guy drafted where he was, and you look at the situation, you're like, okay, the starting quarterback is hurt. He's not going to be playing off rip, so there's immediately an opportunity.
Yeah,
there.
The backup's old.
And so I don't think I think it's also it's unfortunate because I think he also knows that he could play out of his mind, and he's still not going to be the starter all year. Like, eventually Kyle's going to come back and he's going to get that opportunity. But he is going to at least get an opportunity to express or show what he's capable of. And so I would really like to see that. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Hollywood Brown is not expected to play, but Greg Dortch is. So definitely someone to keep an eye on. He's been balling out in training camp, which I know it's training camp, but still, like, has done enough to make a name for himself so far in camp. Paris Johnson Jr. is also going to be out there, so another person to keep an eye on.
Michael Wilson, I'm very much looking forward to seeing as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but there's guys, there's reasons to be excited. Like, I think when you are a team that's clearly going through a rebuild, there's different ways to go about that, and there's teams that go through rebuilds and there's no hope and there's nothing to be excited about, and then there's teams who are clearly trying to build something, and obviously this is kind of the first year of this, but there are young guys to be excited about. There are veterans who are going to get an opportunity to be excited about. You look at the defensive side of the ball, guys like Zayvon Collins and Isaiah Simmons playing new positions.
Isaiah Simmons is going to be like someone to definitely
that is something to definitely keep an eye on. So, like, there are things to be excited about.
Yeah,
this
is a make or break season for Isaiah Simmons. Like, the excuses are gone. Like, he is playing the position that he wants to play. Like, it's go time.
Yeah, Isaiah. No, there's a lot. There's guys with a lot to prove as well. Exactly. So there's a lot of things to be, or hopefully at least, to be excited about, despite the fact that you probably aren't going to see the best football or the best record or a lot of wins coming.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got Greg Dortch, Paris Johnson Jr., Marco Wilson, anyone
Michael
else
Wilson,
that you're
yeah,
excited
Michael Wilson,
about?
and like I said, Isaiah Simmons and Zayvon Collins, seeing what they do in their new positions is going to be
Keep an eye on all of that.
very exciting.
Another maybe not as flashy thing to keep an eye on is just how the new coaching staff operates.
Exactly. New system, new coaches, new vibe, and obviously Gannon, first time head coach, new responsibilities that come with that, clock management, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's one thing where, regardless of kind of the talent on the field or what's happening, like the clock's still running, the rules are the rules. So you get an opportunity as a coach to really get some experience doing those things that a head coach does. So
I almost feel like this is better though, like coming into a situation where you have already automatically faced adversity off the bat and you're not just like stepping into like a really talented roster.
Yeah. No,
and as a first time head coach, having to be crafty and figure out how are we going to do this without our first string quarterback, without like a lot of the pieces, because we're in kind of like a semi rebuild mode. Like I'm more interested to see how Jonathan Gannon manages that as a first time head coach and how he can get creative and like clock manage or timeout utilage. Like it's going to say a lot as to what we can either look forward to or not look forward to, because like if he can manage this, he can manage anything. Yeah,
and I mean, it'd also give him an idea to know what he needs to work on. Yeah. Like, there's no real way to simulate an in-game experience. And obviously, even the preseason is not a great simulation of the regular season. But like I said, the rules are the rules. The clock still operates the same. So you really get an opportunity to see where you stack up in some of those things that are really unique to at the head coaching position.
Yeah, especially going head-to-head against the other head coach that'll be on the sidelines today.
Yeah, and the defensive coordinator that's going to be on the sidelines.
Ooh, awkward. Vince Joseph in town.
Yeah, so it'll be very interesting to see. There's a lot in this game specifically, just as a football fan preseason. Like, there's a lot to be looking at. Obviously, all the things we mentioned the Cardinals, then like you said, Sean Payton's in town. You're getting to see Russell Wilson. So just see what this Broncos team.
I already have heartburn, like indigestion, thinking about tonight.
Yeah, so it's gonna be there's reasons to be excited about preseason football.
Yeah, this is definitely the game that I think if you're gonna care about, this would be the one to care about.
Yeah, there's things to look for.
You will be talking about it next week.
Yes, I will be.
So we'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, make sure you follow PHNX Cardinals too.
Yes, definitely follow.
They're the people that they have a post game show tonight, correct? Yeah, so post-game show tonight for the PHNX Cardinals after the preseason game. So
depending on how it goes, you can either be happy or vent.
Yeah, but again, the preseason game, it didn't matter. So I think the PHNX Cardinals guys are going to do a good job at some of the things you might have. Obviously, you're going to see the score, but some of the things you might have missed. Yeah. So the performance of a guy like Paris Johnson Jr., the offensive lineman, you're not really always watching for. PHNX Cardinals guys are going to do a great job breaking down some of the stuff you might have missed in a preseason game.
Absolutely. I want to give a quick shout out to Chris's nephews, Zach and Matthew.
Hi,
Zach
guys. And Matthew.
So nice for you to be watching.
Hello.
Your aunt is the coolest person on the face of the planet. So congrats for having the coolest aunt ever.
True.
4 Peaks, Shawn. You gotta love it.
I gotta love it. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Yeah. Tell me why.
PHNX D-backs takeover. Our meetup is starting at the 4 Peaks draft room up in right field, which I'm excited for because you get throughout the field they have the wow and the hazy that you can get, but you go up there, selection of basically all the 4 Peaks beers, and the views are dope.
The views are phenomenal.
The vibes are immaculate, just like they are at the 4 Peaks 8th Street pub. It's like a little taste of that at Chase Field. Good selection of beers, good vibes. Gotta love it. I'm very much looking forward to, I think I'll probably go Golden Lager tomorrow night.
Okay.
That's like, I love WoW. Everyone loves WoW. But since I have the whole selection, go to one of my old favorites, the Golden Lager.
I'm a hazy IPA girl through and through. Yeah. I'll never drink anything else.
And you can get that all over the field. I love that. You can get that all over Chase Field.
Oh yeah, they've got hazy in every little stand.
Yeah,
so
it's
that for me.
One of the many things I love about Chase Field is the accessibility of 4 Peaks. Yay. So make sure if you're at a D-backs game, you head up there. If you're looking for dinner or some drinks, head over to the 4 Peaks 8th Street pub, and make sure you check out everything that they're doing on social. Make sure you follow them at 4 Peaks Brew or at 4 Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. You must be 21 or older to drink 4 Peaks, and please drink responsibly.
Also, want to give a quick shout out to our friends at the Spaghetti Shack for bringing in some delicious spaghetti and garlic bread and meatballs for the office this week.
Rice Krispies that they had.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on the Rice Krispies.
And brown sugar. You shitting me.
I died in my time. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Spaghetti Shack, for keeping the office fed. I made not one, but 2 spaghetti and meatball sandwiches. One on Monday and one on Tuesday.
I went classic. You know, I just have my spaghetti.
You just keep everything separate.
I mean, a lot of the times I'm doing the meatball sub. But this time I went classic with it.
Fair. The Spaghetti Shack is a community-focused to-go pasta concept started right here in Tempe, Arizona by 5 lifelong friends. They are currently serving Tempe and Queen Creek, and they will hope to be in a neighborhood near you soon, but make sure to check them out. Their spaghetti is delicious. I can attest. Any fun plans for the weekend, Jonathan?
Takeover. So I'll be there. A lot of D-backs baseball this weekend. They're wearing the throwback jerseys, so I am pumped for that.
Yeah, the throwback jerseys. I can't believe we forgot to say that.
I know, we didn't even bring it up. We were pretty negative when we were talking about the D-backs.
We kind of just shit on the Diamondbacks and moved on.
But yeah, purple jerseys coming this weekend. The vibes are immaculate. If there's a time to figure your shit out
it's
and
now.
Get back on the winning train, it's when you're wearing the jerseys you won a damn World Series in.
Please,
so
for the love of God.
Let's do it.
Let's not embarrass the pinstripes.
Let's do it. Yeah. Don't embarrass the pinstripes. Bring the pinstripes back, man.
Yeah,
full
honestly,
time.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
whole
done with Sedona
podcast.
Red. It's not bad, but like I'd rather the purple one too.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the PHNX Sports Podcast. You are all the absolute best. Ryan, Connor, Charles, Jan, Chris, and your nephews, everyone else, Elizabeth, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And Shawn, we'll see you next week at 12:30. Bye, everybody.